Here on WSGW. Beautiful day outside. Temperatures warming up. Yeah, but don't be fooled, friends. Winter is not over yet, unfortunately. We're going to talk about a way of honoring a group of veterans. It's been going on a couple of years now. And to tell us about it, we say good morning to Brian Voss. Brian, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks
Thank you for having
down.
me.
Sure. So let's start with just what is this function called that we're going to talk about this morning?
We have it as Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. It's a welcome home luncheon for them. It's not necessarily a luncheon. It's more of a dinner, but the timing on it is around lunchtime. But yes.
So if we say it's a welcome home dinner or a dinner for the Vietnam vets, how did all this come about and why?
I am and was a member of We Honor Veterans Committee throughout the years, and we needed a location to have centralized in the Bay City area between Mount Pleasant and, let's say, the Caro area to welcome home Vietnam-era veterans. So we decided to have it in Bay County and honor the Bay County Vietnam-era veterans at that point.
And we should point out this is Bay County right now simply because of the size and
yes,
if it's going to have to grow, you got to find a place to grow it.
Yes, because last year we had 270 people. We think we're going to have probably about 300 again this year. So
where do you hold this luncheon?
It's at St. Stanislaus Parish Center in Bay City. Yep.
Yeah. So when you look at these veterans, they were probably the most mistreated group of veterans we've ever had in the country.
Yes.
Has it changed? Do you sense that they're satisfied now with the treatment they get as opposed to what they got?
Not accordingly to even the 2 years that I've done this event and been to several different veteran organizations, and to talk to them, they still have that feeling and still the sense now to this day yet of not being respected for what they did back at the time, which they were essentially out of their control on what they were doing.
I mean that's following orders. That's what they're
absolutely.
It's what they're required to do in the military. I can remember back in the day. To me, there's no greater group of people that deserve our thanks and attention than veterans. Period.
Absolutely, yes.
Because we don't do what we do without them.
That's right.
They give us the freedom to do what we do, and they protect that freedom. And how the Vietnam veterans were treated, to me, was a black eye on this country. And that is why anytime I hear of something positive happening, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
We're never going to erase the memories of what happened when they returned home. Time doesn't necessarily heal all things, but it does make it better. And I would have to think they're treated a little bit better today than they used to be.
Respect. Yeah, the respect is there, especially when they are wearing their, Vietnam-era veteran type of memorabilia and hats and things. I've seen it out in the public where they say thank you for their service, which they didn't get that back when they returned.
Not only that, this group of veterans who were mistreated when they returned home, make sure that no other veterans are treated that way, because they are greeters. They're first liners right there when it need be.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's talk about this luncheon and what happens at it and who can attend and how they attend and all of that.
Sure. So it is March 21st this year. We couldn't get it on the closer to the 29th, which is the Vietnam Veterans Day, which is actually March 29th of every year. But it's there's a check-in at 11 o'clock. It's not only for the veteran, it's also for their spouse or their family to attend for free. At 11 o'clock, they would come in and register. At that time, they get a certificate. Because we often, we'll ask them when they RSVP with us of what branch of service they were in and the years that they were in, so that we can have the certificate reflect that. And then we also have a pin that we present to them. We do a pinning as they come in with them with other veterans that are also there. And that starts at 11. At 12 o'clock is when the ceremony starts with the Bay County Veteran Honor Guard. Will have their firing squad outside, the rifle volleys with the folding of the flag, and then that'll be brought into the parish hall there, where we'll have a program that it won't last too long. This year we do have, his name is Bob Green, and he's from Mid-Michigan Honor Flight, who's going to be our speaker to talk about what the Honor Flight is about.
That, I look back at my career, my life, and because of my career, I've been allowed to do some things. A number of years ago, when Dow was running honor flights, I got to go on one. It was special. And not only did we get to go on it, but when we got to the World War II memorial, Bob Dole was there.
Oh,
and nice. We got to meet and talk to Bob Dole. But to fly with these vets, to be with them, to see the reception they got in Washington, the plane lands and the fire trucks are out throwing water over it. The buses were waiting for us along with a police escort through Washington, D.C. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was one of the most amazing things I think I ever did.
Yep.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
We had last year the speaker, he was a prisoner of war, that on the spot, Bob Green was there at last year's event and invited him and a couple other members that were there to be part of that, and they're still talking about it to this day, and we're wearing the hats from Honor Flight and things like that. So it's, they have a lot of stories and how wonderful they were taken care of over there.
Oh, yeah, and then just to culminate it, when we got back to MBS, it was a huge crowd waiting to clap as they walked down this corridor of people.
Wow!
So it was pretty interesting time, to say the least.
Sure.
You mentioned a word, 4 letters, free.
Yes.
Which means somebody's got to be paying for this.
Right.
So it takes money to do these things. How is it funded?
Well, it's funded by myself. I own Ambrose and Squires Funeral Homes. I fund this, and then also we've had some people step up for giving donations that have. What that is done is that's turned around to have us. We give veterans that are there their spouse T-shirts. So the T-shirts are paid for by organizations that have donated some money for that. It's also this year going to not only go for the shirts, but we've made some challenge coins that we're going to give to the veterans that are there as well. So the funds that are given to me turn around and are paid for what's going to be returned to the veterans at that. So, but the majority, like the food, Don Krzyzak is doing from the restaurant.
Oh, really? Donnie's doing it?
Yeah,
Wow.
Donnie, he does a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
So, Donnie, that'll be I pay for that. The donation to the hall and things, everything will be covered by us. So that's why we wanted to make it's 100% free. The T-shirts are free to them. The challenge coins, so that we have the shirts printed as they request them, because they might want something different. Because we have a Vietnam veteran shirt specific that has a saying on the back that's for them, and then their spouse, or it could even be a brother or sister if they want on the front, like a sister or brother of a Vietnam veteran. So that they're printed on the spot, or not on the spot, but ordered on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We're talking to Brian Voss about the Vietnam Veterans lunch and dinner, if you will. And again, it's on March 21st. March 21st is the date. We'll tell you more about it when we return.
Hi, I'm Stan.
Back with you, Brian Voss in studio, and he is funding a dinner to honor Vietnam veterans. And it's specifically focused on Vietnam veterans, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's because of welcoming home. The portion of that's because we've had that
didn't happen.
Yeah, right, and that was the question that we've had a few times: is that if somebody's been in a different wartime, could they come And unfortunately, we're doing certificates and everything that's specifically for Vietnam era veterans.
And how many people did you have last year?
270. That was with the veterans and their
Spouses,
spouses. Yes.
And you're expecting more this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Any thoughts of regionalizing it?
It's come up a few times because we have gotten calls from places like, say, Saginaw area that they wanted to come and things like that. So we are entertaining that. We just would have to have a facility that could accompany that. We assume it would be larger than what could be held where we're at now.
Yeah. Oh, there's facilities.
Yeah. Yeah. We can locate that because I know there's the support in the community for it for sure. So
I fully agree. Anything we can do to support the Vietnam vets who were so mistreated,
yes,
it just makes sense.
Right.
But at the same time, it's an expensive proposition. You're not going to fund one regionally. You'll need some help.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, there are some people that can provide that, though, and that's the thing about it. It's pretty necessary, I think.
Sure.
So what kind of goodies is Donnie Krzyzak creating for you for this lunch?
Be ready for like the meat and potatoes type of thing. It's not, when it's, like I said, the luncheon only means because of timing. But Donnie does it right with the mashed potatoes and the chicken and the beef that he had last year, and he does the pies and the sides and salads and everything. So last year, him and his wife Jill were there and help and serve and stand right alongside of everybody and do that as well because Don does so much for the community as well.
We're all products of our parents. Donnie is a product of his parents and the late Don Krzyzak.
Yes.
Who was exactly the same way.
Absolutely.
Give to the community, and they have done that forever.
Yes.
And to be appreciated, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's for sure. And what time does it all begin, and what's on the program?
Like I say, check-ins at 11. 12 o'clock is ceremony will start. We have somewhat of a program that we'll follow. I'll have a little introduction. There will be the playing of the branch service songs. There will be some poems read that are for the spouses there, and then we'll have the guest speaker, Bob Green, speak. So he will talk as well then. And then after that, we kind of conclude things where people will be eating. So it's somewhat informal. We'll do an honor of a member of the We Honor Veterans that passed away, Dan Howard. So we're going to honor him as well for all he's done over the years and getting this instrumental with asking me to start it, basically. So he was a retired military veteran as well. He put 20 years in, so his wife will be there as well.
A Vietnam veteran, do they have to register ahead of time?
Yes, we would want them to RSVP by the 9th of March if possible, either to me at the funeral home by the phone number, or I can give my email address. Sue Gentle is also from AdvisaCare. She's helping me with this as well, and she has her email too. But the RSVP for it is not only for the count for food, but also that we can get their name properly spelled on a certificate along with their branch's service on it as well.
So you say RSVP. Is there an invite someplace that they can find? Or
yes, it's on my Facebook at Ambrose Funeral Home. There's on our Facebook page. It's been to all the Bay County veteran organizations.
So it's been around.
Yes, and then I circulated it to the churches around Bay County at this point as well.
So. And included in that, they have to put down who's coming with them. So
yeah,
you know how many people, right?
Yeah, just at least if it's one or two or three others other than the veteran, so we can have room for that. Yes,
immediate family members, obviously.
Right.
And how long a program would you guess?
I would say when it starts at noon, things kind of wind down with the food and everything by say about 3 o'clock. It's relatively quick in that aspect when for it, but it's not all evening. That's why we did it earlier, so people, if they have things scheduled at night, they can still move on to the next event.
And the location again?
It's at St. Stanislaus Parish Center, which it's right next to the Church Our Lady of Czestochowa Parish, 1503 Kosciuszko Avenue in Bay City. So we'll be right there, and we'll greet them in the hallways and have several people that are veterans and registration people to check them in.
So these veterans, variety of backgrounds, variety of experiences, in your dealing with them, do you find many of them have PTSD?
Yes. Yeah.
Still?
Oh, yeah. Still. Even at our, we do a vet-to-vet cafe at my Squires location the first Wednesday of every month at 9 o'clock. There's individuals that come there on a regular basis, and they talk about different things that are to keep reoccurring too, and that, or if they are not the ones, they reflect or they mention other friends that they have that have been in Vietnam that have problems yet still moving forward.
So, I wish we could, wave a magic wand
Absolutely.
and have that disease go away.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, and it's not new. It has a new name, PTSD, but after other previous wars, it was called shell shock and all kinds of other things, But it's one of the lasting negative effects of serving, particularly if you're in the front line and seeing a lot of the chaos and mayhem. It's hard to fathom. I mean, if you've not been there, it's hard. And I've not been there. You've not been there.
Nope.
But boy, I sure respect the people that have.
And this to, when they talk about it too, just to be there to listen to them when they're ready to release some of that information.
That's the interesting thing, to get them to talk about it.
Right. And that's why we implemented this vet-to-vet cafe, because even though it's somewhat the same reoccurring people, but we might get a few others that they invite, but they get to share.
You know what I would do? I would set a recorder down and have some of these people talk into it, so you have these things lasting.
Yeah.
For future generations to understand what happened,
Sure.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be back. We're talking to Brian Voss and the Vietnam Veterans Lunch Dinner coming up on the 21st of March.
Motown Legends.
Hi, we're back with you in studio with me, Brian Voss, from the Ambrose and Squires Funeral Homes in Bay City, and talking about the Vietnam Vets Lunch and Dinner coming up on the 21st of March. But before we get back to that, I want to talk about your profession for a minute.
Okay.
What drew a young lad into the funeral business? I've always been curious about that.
Well, my story is that when I was in high school, that's not the direction I was thinking of. I
don't know too many people in high school that are,
no.
actually.
I actually started working at a funeral home, just washing cars and cutting grass as a high school senior. And then when I was there for a little bit of time frame, they had asked me if I'd ever want to work inside greeting people and showing them to the chapels and so on. Mm-hmm. So at that particular time, I got to know the gentlemen that were working there, and they offered me to maybe do my apprenticeship. So I took the opportunity to do my apprenticeship because none of the, back room type of things bothered me at all. And so then they just slowly but surely would move me into different things of, going when someone passes away to bring them back to the funeral home and so on. And then I said, well, this is something that I have no problem with, so I'm going to go to mortuary school. And I graduated mortuary school in 1995. So it was, out of high school in 90 and then done in 95, and here I am now.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you get to deal with people at their worst time.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is a skill set.
Yeah, and it's the personalities, too, at that time of the family all resonate at the table when you're meeting with them. So you get all different opinions, different thoughts. So you have to kind of just listen first and what they're asking and kind of go from there. And that's what a lot of it is. I mean, we end up being the title of the funeral director is where we're at right now, but it's more or less a planner for them because there's no traditional anything anymore for funerals.
Has it changed that much? I mean, from the time you got in, and let's say go back to the 90s when you first got in, has the business changed that much, and has the way the job is done changed that much?
The way the funerals, like when we say a traditional funeral was done at the time you were into it, for oftentimes you'd have a partial day of visitation one day, funeral or visitation the second day as well. So you could have, say 4 to 9 and 1 or 2 to 9 the next day, and then the funeral mass or service on the third day. Then over a short time, that went down to maybe doing 1 day of gathering or visitation. Back in the time frame when they still had a newspaper that was daily, you could get obituaries in the morning and still have visitation at night.
Yeah.
Now everything has kind of changed over where it's people do it at their own time frame. They might have family that's scattered amongst and they can't be in until next week, so then we wait. And nothing is too much of a hurry anymore, where it's when someone passed away, say last evening, that they start visitation today like they used to. Now they wait till maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week.
Yeah.
And then
Because there are certain differences in certain religions
oh yeah,
where you don't wait. But,
right. Yeah. And then with, cremation on the rise too, cremations are final disposition as well. But they often will do visitation with that, maybe do cremation first, but then they'll have a gathering or a celebration of life or a service either at the funeral home. Right now we've seen COVID really changed everybody's thought during that time frame because of the restrictions we had of size. So we were doing often things backwards at that time. We were doing maybe a funeral service at a church or maybe the cemetery because it could be more people.
Spread out.
Yeah. And then we would maybe have something later on at the funeral home, which it hardly ever came to that. So people now, they just automatically have their mind made up of what direction they want to go. So it's condensed way down. So there might be a day of visitation today, funeral tomorrow, or it could be all on the same day, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pre-planning now, isn't there, where people,
Yeah.
it's a subject none of us like to talk about.
Right.
We all think we're immortal. None of us are. But nobody wants to talk about it. But yet, in this day and age, it seems to me that more and more people are prepaying, if you will.
Yeah, the pre-planning portion of it is what is stressed when I do seminars. The payment is an option if they want to. You don't have to prepay anything. The prepayment locks it in for the expenses for the future. The pre-need portion of it that I encourage people to do is at least have their vital information down, what their wishes, and then maybe even selection of merchandise, so that the family at the end, when something does happen, they have a direction, because they don't talk about it, like you said.
Well, yeah,
nobody ever says anything.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
But that's one of the number one things that when we meet with the family and they don't have anything prearranged, our questions are, what's the deceased mother's maiden name? A lot of people are clueless; they don't know, or the individual Social Security number, because we have to put that on a death certificate as well. So they have to look for that. May not get it. Then they have to maybe get even their tax professional involved because they don't have mom or dad's.
It's an interesting question because you have certain responsibilities as a funeral director in notifying, for example, Social Security.
We do that as a courtesy to them because
it's not a requirement,
right? We do that as when we do death certificates now, we do them all electronically. The state of Michigan has come into electronic systems, so when we notify or file a death certificate in the county of death, then we also notify Social Security electronically, and they respond back verified, which sometimes they might be a number or something transposed, but they'll let us know if it's right or wrong. Then we file the death certificate. So then the families don't have to do any of that with Social Security. They're either notified if there's a spouse that's living, or they get nothing. And that $255 is what a spouse gets from it. If there is one living, but they don't have to do any of it because I notify them for that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with Brian Voss, one final segment. We'll remind everybody again about the Vietnam Vets Lunch coming up.
Pat's Food Center and Do It Best.
It's served at lunchtime, but it's enough food to be at dinner for a couple of days.
Absolutely.
The Krizaks know how to do it.
Right.
And again, it is March 21st at St. Stan's, right?
Yes.
So if you had a crystal ball, Brian, and you look down the road 5 years from now, what would you want to see for this event?
I'd want to see this to be marked on everybody's calendar for the following year, to be there again to support the Vietnam veterans, and to be up to 500 people, and have it just because I get the thank yous for the little that I feel, the acknowledgement that I do for them is way more than enough that I need to continue this. So
you can't be thanked enough for it.
Well, in 5 years, it'll be continued on because I want this to keep going because it's well needed. So,
and regionalization, a possibility?
I think it's a possibility, that's for sure. Talk to some places and see what their thoughts are and get it maybe in the works.
You do it all yourself, or do you have a committee help you?
I get things going. I do have a few people that help me. Roger Shook and Sue Gentle, like I mentioned, from Advisacare, and her staff there, or her client or her employee friends there, they help us out as well. But I do have support, from my wife, of course, and the church, and my Knights of Columbus, and individuals that come for the physical labor to set things up. And
you have volunteers.
Yes, yep. So we have quite a few volunteers, and my staff from the funeral home help and everything as well. And but it's quite an effort to put it together. They often tell me that I need to stop doing things by myself and get the help, but I'm the kind of person that's I need to have my hands into everything and make sure it's done the way I want it done, I guess.
Nothing wrong with that, as long as it gets done.
Right, yeah.
So it's it's quite an undertaking, to say the least.
Yeah.
Say the least. Support from the veterans organizations and
absolutely, Bay. Yep, yeah. The Bay Veteran Foundation, they come to the event. Also, Mark Kazmarek from the Bay County building, the Bay County Honor Guard, they're there dressed, and they do the ceremony, of course. So they're recognized. We are going to have the Tri-City Nurse Corps that's there too. They came last year.
Oh, really?
They come to funerals for nurses that pass away if they're requested. They're all dressed in their, they may have their same caps from when they graduated and things like that.
Yep.
So they're going to be represented there. So we have a lot of support that way. And then there's a few vendors that come too that just set up as support for the veterans of different things that they can, maybe access if they need it. Yes.
Any service officers there to help them with the...
Yeah, from Bay County, Mark Kazmarek will be there for sure. Ashton Hero, who's the navigator, he's actually comes from Saginaw County. He's of all the area, regional, so he'll be there. So there'll be a lot of veteran support there. Even representation I asked from Great Lakes National Cemetery were there last year so that they could be there. This year, I know Amigo here in Bridgeport is coming, so they're going to be able to talk to people about transport with Amigo type things. Memories by Candlelight, they're always there too. Tri-City RV and different places like that. So, yeah.
And and we have to point out again, this is specifically for Vietnam vets.
Yes.
But in no way slights the service of all the other vets that are out there.
Not at all.
It's just, it would be impossible to have a function like this for everybody, you know.
Absolutely. And it is also Vietnam veteran era veterans. So if you were not in Vietnam but you're in during the time frame, you are welcome to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do they need to bring any proof of identity or anything of that nature?
If they RSVP'd ahead of time, they'll step up to the table where we have it alphabetized by last name, and they would go to that particular table, and then they would have it check off and know that they're there. So they would just mention